Hi, this is Dr. Martina, your sexuality expert, and today I would like to talk about the 4 cornerstones of female sexuality. These 4 cornerstones build an essential foundation for you to be able to understand your sexuality, improve your sexual experiences, and have a solid, positive foundation on top of which you can build your sexual life. So if you're interested in getting better at this sex thing, this video is for you. Let me tell you what these 4 cornerstones are. With sexual knowledge, I mean anatomy. Anatomy of the female gender. For instance, the anatomy of the clitoris. It took almost 30 years after we put a man onto the moon that we received a 3D picture of the complete structure of the clitoris. It is not a button, it is a tip of an iceberg. The clitoris legs has erectile tissues just like the penis does, and those tissues get engorged with blood just like the penis does. The clitoris has 8,000 nerve endings. It's a very sensitive tip, and that's why it comes with a hood to protect it. The tip of the penis has 4,000 nerve endings. There's a lot of more information out there now about the anatomy of the female gender, and I just encourage you to read up on it. And most importantly, take a mirror and look at your own genitals. Become familiar with it. I've heard too often I see it in my practice that women don't look at their genitals. Oh, I don't touch myself down there. Oh, I don't want to see it, it's ugly. There's books out there with all kinds of different vaginas, and we all are beautiful. We all have flowers. So take an inventory and check and educate yourself and become familiar with your own gender. The sexual knowledge has a very strong effect, is an important component of the sexuality, and it has an effect on how you experience your sex. And so does how you think about sex. So a sex-positive mind is just as important. I understand that we inherit sexual morals that are between 1 or 2 or even 3 generations old and are just not true anymore. And it is time that you take an inventory and create your own sexual mind, create an own sex-positive mind. Because if you have negative thoughts about sex, it will have a negative effect on your sexual experience. It's just as simple as that. The feeling of gender affiliation, or the feeling you have about being female, is directly linked to other personal components of your sexuality, like your sexual desire, your sexual pleasure, sexual fantasies, emotional intensity, sexual attractions, and obviously your sexual self-assurance. This is why this cornerstone is very, very important. It is very important how you feel about being the gender that you are. The feeling of gender affiliation is linked to learning steps on a genital level, which means a woman can learn how to eroticize her vagina. She can develop her receptivity, like her desire of taking something actively into her vagina, like a finger, a dildo, or a penis, forgot the penis, and arouse herself with it and be filled by it. It doesn't matter what your sexual preference is. If you're female, if you are a female gender, you have a vagina, and being able to eroticize this vagina is an important component of your sexuality. This process of eroticizing your vagina, that can be learned, and it will develop over time. which is a beautiful thing, like the rest of our sexuality develops. If you spend the interest and the intent to connect with your vagina on that level, on that erotic level, I can promise you, you will not get bored with the insights you get about the beauty and the colorful and creative side of female sexuality. Enjoying female sexuality means enjoying being female, having female genitals. One of the most provocative discussions that you can have about sexuality is the discussion about the natural desire to experience sex. If we compare that with other desires for physical activities like playing tennis or riding a bicycle, rowing in my case, running, let's just assume you're a runner. You love to run, you tell people about it that you're running, people say what a wonderful thing you do, it's healthy, it improves the quality of your life. You try to convince maybe other people to join you on the run or for them also to experience this beautiful thing. You tell them, I love running. What if you love sex? Do you tell anybody that you love sex? Do you stand behind your desire about your sexuality? If not, start. Start by talking maybe to friends that you feel comfortable with, maybe friends that you envy their sexual lives. Maybe you know you have a female friend who has sex and talks about it. Maybe you want to start with her to tell her, I love sex too. You have to stand behind your desire of having sex, because if you don't, it's difficult to enjoy your sexuality. Also investigate your desires. You know, your reason for having sex may be motivated by your need to be close with somebody, emotional needs, or maybe you have a need to just have a tension release, or your desire to have sex may be based on genital needs. Your body wants to be played with, your vagina wants to be filled, your clitoris wants to be played with. Just remember, investigate what your desires are and see how they change, because remember, sexuality is fluid, it does not remain the same, and therefore don't get stuck in one or the other form of desire. Just be conscious, check in with yourself, and act accordingly. Like I said, it's difficult to enjoy your sexuality if you can't stand behind your sexual desires. You can learn how to understand your sexual desires, how to accept them, how to change them if you want to change them, and just how to learn how to be with them and stand behind them, and that will increase your level of sexual confidence. And therefore it is a very important cornerstone of your sexuality. I think there's something wrong with me, I don't feel anything. I hear this quite often too from females. There's nothing wrong with you. You too can learn how your sexuality functions. And with that knowledge, you can make adjustments, necessary adjustments to change your behavior and to improve the way you experience your sexuality. The functionality of your sexuality will tell you about your arousal. It will tell you what kind of sources you personally use to increase that arousal. It will tell you what kind of arousal mode do you have in order to reach the point of no return where you can orgasm. Or if you haven't learned that yet, it will tell you what brings you to that level, to the frustrating level where your arousal fizzles out, and it will tell you why it fizzles out, and then you can make adjustments. Having sex without knowing how your sexuality functions is like driving a car without knowing where the steering wheel is. anything and all of this can be learned. And but I have to say, cannot be learned without self-touch, which brings me to the importance of self-touch. Self-touch is important. Solo sex, masturbation, whatever you want to call it, is important for everyone's sexuality. In this case, in this video, it is definitely important for the four cornerstones of your sexuality, like having a sex-positive mind. How can you have that without self-touch? If you feel bad about self-touch, if you don't want to touch yourself down there, you're not going to get a sex-positive mind. It is important for the feeling of gender affiliation. If you want to really connect with your genitals, you gotta touch them. You gotta put your fingers inside, outside, touch it, see how it feels. If you want to stand behind your desires, sexual desires, you gotta feel good about touching yourself, and feeling good about touching yourself will come with practice. So just practice, practice, practice. It is not a bad homework to do. It actually can be a lot of fun. So this brings us to the conclusion of the four cornerstones of female sexuality. If you enjoyed this, and if it sparked an interest for you to learn about your four cornerstones and to build your foundation, if you want to do it on a one-to-one basis, I'm here for you. Contact me. I also do Skype sessions if you're somewhere outside of my area. And if you want to do it in a group session, I offer workshops. Our next workshop starts in February. So please inquire about it and let me hear from you. And have a sexy day. Thank you.